Now it's my pleasure to introduce our special guest speaker, Ms. Jessica Huffman. Ms. Huffman is a graduate of the WVUP Parkersburg ADN program. She earned a BSN from Ohio University, an MSN in Nursing Administration from Xavier University. She's currently working on a doctorate degree studying population health leadership from Xavier University. She's employed by WVU Medicine Camden Clark Medical Center as the Director of Acute Care Services, as well as an adjunct professor of nursing at Xavier University. She's an active member of the Academy of Medical Surgical Nursing and the West Virginia Organization of Nurse Executives. Earlier this year, she received the 40 Under 40 Award for Emerging Nurse Leaders for the state of West Virginia. Ms. Huffman resides in Belpre, Ohio with her husband and her 5 children. Please help me in welcoming Mrs. Jessica Huffman to the stage.
Thank you. Dear Jessica, 10 years ago, you were right down here, sitting in this very auditorium, about to participate in your nursing pinning ceremony. You were wearing a pair of new white scrubs that you purchased from a discount store just for this ceremony, because nurses are broke, but your quality of life is going to get a lot better from here on out. You had only been married since the summer before, and though no one knew it yet, you were now pregnant with your first child. Your stomach was in knots. Was it the morning sickness or the uncertainty of what was to come? Relax, it's all going to turn out fine. You've spent many sleepless nights studying. This is going to come in handy with all the infants you're going to have in the future. Spoiler alert, you're going to have 5 infants over the next 10 years. The study habits you've developed in this program will also help you when you get your bachelor's degree, and your master's degree, and your doctorate degree. Don't laugh. During the last weeks of school, I remember how you rolled your eyes when Professor Fromm encouraged you to embrace lifelong learning. Whatever, right? Wrong. You became one of them, a nursing professor. Fromm also encouraged you to become active in professional nursing organizations. Who has time for that? Well, you do, and you did. Jessica, look around at your classmates. This is a really big day. You're going to stay in touch with Lene and Sarah. You'll lose touch with Steph. Hug Dominique. She won't be here in the next decade. Thank your professors. You're going to exceed their salary soon, though you have less education and no experience. They're here to make a difference, and we desperately need more nurse educators. Keep in touch with them. They're cheering for you, and they deeply care about your success. When you're short-staffed later on, remember this. Without qualified nurse educators, our nursing shortage in the United States will remain unchanged. And then, remember how your professors taught you to not only advocate for your patients, but for your profession. Soon, you'll take the NCLEX. Tony will drive you to Columbus the night before, take you out for cheesecake to try to distract you from your test anxiety. Speaking of cheese, he's getting awfully good at the cheesy dad jokes, and the baby isn't even here yet. You'll be the first in your class to take their exam. Don't let the pressure weigh on you. You're going to pass on the first try, and so will everyone else. Remember, you got to the point you're at today because you're prepared. Today may seem like another task on your to-do list, another hoop to jump through before you can add the letters RN behind your name. But it's an honor and a privilege to be here today in this situation. I know you don't really care about Florence Nightingale now, but you should. She's the founder of modern nursing and the reason you're having this pinning ceremony today. She paved the way for you to get here. Someday, you'll actually have a painting of her in your office. And yeah, you're going to get your own office someday. You became a bean counter. Just kidding. You seized the amazing opportunity to become a nurse leader. It wasn't easy, and there were some bumps in the road. Healthcare in America changes a lot over the next few years. The hospital where you worked as a nursing aide during school closes. Due to financial instability, your job gets cut at one hospital, but you're going to land an even better job somewhere else. Paper charting goes away. Surgeons start using robots to operate on patients. Cars aren't quite flying yet, but we're getting much closer to becoming the Jetsons. Jessica, over the next 10 years, Gallup polls will show that the profession of nursing is ranked as the most trusted profession in the United States every single year. The transformation that the nursing profession underwent from the days of Florence Nightingale to today can easily be compared to the life cycle of a butterfly. Likewise, the transformation you've gone through and the future changes you have ahead are also very comparable to the butterfly's journey. This pinning ceremony marks the official transition into your profession, where you'll join members of a proud and loyal society of nurses, 3.8 million strong. When you entered into this program, you were a caterpillar. This is the growth stage in the life cycle of the eventual butterfly. At times, you felt as though minutes were probably slowly creeping along like a fuzzy caterpillar climbing on a twig. Would nursing school ever end? Though you couldn't imagine what was to come, this process was necessary. You can't put wings on a caterpillar and call it a butterfly. The beautiful butterfly is created through transformation and growth during this stage. And now your time has come to move on to the chrysalis stage. Don't rush the process. You need to spend time in the cocoon, nurturing yourself and healing. You're leaving behind what you once knew. It's a scary time of change, but it's important to trust in the process. The first year of becoming a nurse is not going to be easy. You finish school and you're ready to move on from being a chubby, hairy caterpillar to a graceful butterfly. There will be times you feel like you're a butterfly stuck in a chrysalis, waiting for your moment to fly. When you find yourself cocooned in isolation and you can't find your way out of the darkness, remember, this is the place where caterpillars go to grow their wings. The chrysalis is symbolic of preparation for great change. When first emerging from the chrysalis, the wings are wet and crinkled. That was you as the new graduate nurse. What a shock it was to know that you didn't know everything. While you imagined that you would quickly transition from caterpillar to butterfly once you finished nursing school and passed the NCLEX, you needed time in the chrysalis and time to transition between each stage. After about an hour from emerging from the chrysalis, the wings of the butterfly are straight, dry, and strong enough for the butterfly to flutter away. As you embark on your journey to becoming a nurse, please remember that you're going to need this time of learning in your new role too. You can't fly as soon as you emerge from the chrysalis. So ask questions, find a mentor, take care of yourself. Don't push yourself too hard. Learn from the experienced nurses and take time to listen, because your time to fly is coming. The butterfly is a legendary symbol of supreme transformation. They're really amazing creatures. They're elegant, beautiful, graceful, and tender. Butterflies are mighty in numbers, but they're silent. They don't make a sound. Jess, remember how I told you that there are almost 4 million nurses in our country now? We're mighty too. Get involved. Nurses need a seat at the table, on unit councils, in shared governance models, in the boardroom, and active in driving healthcare reform. Like butterflies, nurses are widely noticed, but we're often a silent majority. Instead of complaining about your working conditions to friends in the break room or grumbling about the healthcare system in our country when reading the news or receiving a healthcare bill, do something about it and use your voice. You know better than anyone what our patients need. There are about 20,000 different species of butterflies. They're all unique. And likewise, no two nurses are the same. They have different wants, needs, talents, competencies, and life experiences. Butterflies come in different sizes as well, and so do nurses. Different sizes, shapes, backgrounds, and we all bring different experience with us. Respect this. The new graduate may be more aware of emerging technology or newly published evidence-based practices. The experienced nurse can share wisdoms from lessons learned. There's a place for everyone. Jessica, you'll be working with nurses representing 4 generations soon: baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. Generational differences will cause misunderstandings at times. Try to recognize the benefits that each generation brings to the workforce and use the strengths to band together as a unified team. Butterflies serve a very important role in our environment. They flit from flower to flower and pollinate plants along the way. Butterflies and flowers rely on each other for survival. They seem like only an ornament in our world, but if they were gone, it would be a great loss. Nurses also serve a vital role in our world. Without nurses, healthcare would cripple. Patients would suffer. However, we can't do our jobs alone. We rely on strong teamwork from an interdisciplinary group: physicians, advanced practice professionals, IT gurus, phlebotomists, housekeepers, leaders, and more. When things get busy, and they will be busy, please remember the vitality of others' roles. There will be times when you selfishly think of just yourself and how your role is impacted as a nurse. While your job is important, the only way to succeed is with all members of the team engaged in working to the top of their licensure, education, and training. Each person serves an important purpose. Butterflies are threatened early on by parasites, predators, disease, and environmental factors. In healthcare, we have our own threats to our profession. So back to you. Please take care of yourself. I know your job is literally to care for everybody else. But the butterfly cannot pollinate flowers with a broken wing. Invest in some good shoes. Nurses are 6 times more likely than other professions to have back injuries. Use the lift equipment that your facility provides you. Actually pay attention to the modules that you have to do about proper body mechanics. And get the good shoes. It's not uncommon to walk more than a 5K during one 12-hour shift at the hospital. No one talks about the caterpillar transforming into a blob of goo in the chrysalis. It's not very glamorous. The hype is always given to the butterfly and the elaborate wings. Nursing has areas that aren't talked about also, but you need to know, Jessica. 1 in 10 nurses is facing a substance abuse disorder, addiction, or they're in recovery. An opioid epidemic is heading your way over the next decade, and it's going to hit our community harder than any other part of the country. As nurses, we have access to very powerful medications. This access, coupled with temptation, can be disastrous for your coworkers with addiction. Watch out for your fellow coworker, report when you see something that seems off, and help healing nurses get better without judgment. Speaking of not judging, people are finally going to start talking about mental health awareness soon. Depression affects about 9% of everyday citizens, but up to 18% of nurses experience symptoms of depression. Be in tune to what's going on with yourself, get help, and watch out for your friends. You're entering into a very rewarding career path, but one that comes with a lot of responsibility and daily occurrences of traumatic events. Some days you will save lives. Because of your actions, a person will get to live another day. Think about that for a minute. That's very heavy. You will hold the hands of a patient as they take their last breaths so that they're not alone. There will be days that you cry, ugly cry, but often it doesn't happen until you're driving home, because when you're working, you don't have time to cry. You have to hold it together because you don't just care for one patient. You have to move on to the next call light or the next emergency, but care for the caregiver too. Drink enough water. Get a good night's rest. Don't eat garbage food. Early on, you're admittedly going to survive night shift by drinking Mountain Dew. You don't think it's gross now, but you will in a few years. This is the one body you're given, so take care of it. Butterflies have an average lifespan of only 2 weeks. Thankfully, you're probably going to live closer to 78 years. Some of the butterfly migrations are so long that it takes generations to make the trip. Nursing has also come a long way over many generations. When Florence Nightingale entered into nursing, it was a very poorly viewed role, and her wealthy family didn't want her to enter it. It was looked down upon to become a nurse. Just 2 generations ago, nurses could be kicked out of nursing school just for getting married or having a baby. Now, nurses are researchers, lawmakers, CEOs, and entrepreneurs. The image of nursing has flipped. It took time, but you're here. Recognize the journey that the nurses before you took to get us to this image, and please maintain it. Rory Vaden said, "Success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day." It's true. You're going to have to work hard every day to maintain the image of nursing. You're a nurse now. It's who you are, it's in your blood. You're not just a nurse when you're on your unit with your name tag on. You're a nurse in the elevator, at the grocery store, and online posting on social media. Make the other nurses proud of you. You can't switch between the caterpillar and the butterfly because you're the butterfly now. It's part of your identity. Carry yourself well and be a respectable nurse when you're on and off duty. Butterflies can't see their wings or imagine how truly beautiful they are, but everyone else can see this. Nurses are like this too sometimes. When your actions don't align with your image, this hurts our profession, so do the right thing always. Jessica, you can do so much as a nurse. You can go so far. Some butterflies migrate as far away as 2,000 miles and as high up as 11,000 feet, higher than some clouds. You're going to be presented with opportunities to fly and soar in your career. You can change settings and move to other states, or you can stay here and serve your community. No matter what you do it with your heart and make the rest of the nurses proud. We admire the butterfly, but often neglect to consider the changes it's gone through to achieve that beauty. Reflect on the changes you've also made to get to where you are today, in this auditorium, at this pinning ceremony, and about to embark on a new journey. The butterfly only gets one chance to make this great transformation, but as a nurse, you'll have the opportunity to grow and morph and evolve time and time again. It's been said that something as small as the flutter of the butterfly's wings can ultimately cause a typhoon halfway around the world. The thought is that one small event can cause a rippling effect of other many changes that make a large impact. The heart and soul that you put into your work as a nurse can and will make a difference. Seemingly insignificant moments that you spend with patients can alter history forever. Dear Jessica, your time has come. You've grown your wings. Now go make a difference. I can't wait to see what you'll do over the next 10 years. Signing off with love.